are here with the Sisters of Battle. What are you running on the, is it the Rose?
Order of the Bloody Rose, so go +1 attack and strength on charges when charged and heroic interventions. So I've got Celestine and 2 Canonesses. I've got 6 units of 5 sisters. All of the Sister Superiors have a Combi Plasma and a Power Maul, although they might not be modelled on these, they will be eventually changed. There's 2 Sisters with Bolters, and then a heavy weapon and a special weapon in each unit. I've got to put Flamer in for that. That's 6 units.
So 6 troops.
I've got 3 headquarters, 1 unit of Celestines, which are elites, the blue sisters, a Hospitalier, if you say it like that, and then the Gemini count as the other elites, so that's 1, 2, 3 elites. Then I've got 3 units of 8 Seraphim. The unit with the conversion bits at the back is the one with the twin Inferno pistols, 2 of them. Otherwise I've got 2 Flamer pistols in each unit, and each sister again has a plasma pistol. Sister Superior has a plasma pistol and a power maul.
And then
2 immolators, a scratch build because I had to make one up, and one of these. And then I've got 3 exorcists, current model, a whirlwind standing, and a scratch build for that. And that makes me a brigade, which gives me 12 plus 3, 15 points, and I've taken an extra artifact. So I've got the Brazier is on this Canoness, Brazier of Eternal which basically means the Shield of Faith ability that the sisters now have give them a D6 to get rid of any psychics, but that makes it 2d6. It's basically, I think it's a 6-inch bubble around it. I'll check that. And then the other one is the girl with the
axe model.
The axe model has actually got the Sword of Admonition, which is it's a strength plus 2 or 3 power sword that does 3 damage. Minus 1 or 2, I can't remember. It's a very nice power sword. Yep. So that's that.
The Sisters of Battle list. So we shall move on to the Death Guard list and talk you through that. Right, and here we have the Death Guard list. We have Typhus, Necrosis, the Undying. He's a new model to the table. I've got him, just been painting him up. We have the Plague Marines, 8 there with a Blight Launcher and a Plasma. We have 2 squads of 20 Poxwalkers there and the Plague Burst Crawler with the Atopic Cannons. Then we have an Outrider with Mamoon, the Transfigured. He's what I spent most of my time painting over Christmas. And then we have 2 Plague Drones with Plague Spitters and the Blight Hauler with the standard loadout. And on this side we have a Vanguard with Demon Prince with wings and Twin Malefic Talons. He's got the Suppurating Plates as his relic. Then we have 5 Blight Lord Terminators with Reaper Cannon and a Combi Melter, the Fat 2 Combi Melters. And we have a Foul Blight Spawn and Blightbringer. And that makes the 2,000 point list. That gives me 10 command points against Ben's 15. Also, he has
10 faith points.
10 faith points.
3 basic plus 10. 7 for the 70 infantry I've got.
So we'll come back after. The mission we're playing is
supplies from
above. So we set 4 markers down, then we roll off every turn to move them with the winds, and then
each of us do,
flying units control the take priority on control of the objective markers over troops, which is a bit different.
And they can drift over impassable terrain and whatever.
Yeah.
Well, impassable is a bit, yeah.
So I have a slight little, mind you, yes, you've got quite a few fly units, have you?
I have an elite, a HQ, and 3 fast.
Are they all fly keyword?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Jetpacks.
Yeah, right. So right, onto deployment. Right, Death Guard's got to choose deployment zone. So we chose up this end of the board. Then the sisters chose this end. I've got 5 Blight Lord Terminators in Deep Strike, and you've got all of that in Deep Strike.
These are in the Rhinos. Celestian and Gemini are in Deep Strike, and these 3 units are also in Deep Strike.
In Deep Strike, so yeah, they'll be coming in at some point. And then the rest of there's 2 squads of sisters, 1 squad of
Celestians, the sort of bodyguard type, the Hospitalier, and the Canoness with the brazier of thingamajig, Eternal Flame for extra psychic ability. I've got a Simulacrum Imperialis in there as well, so extra faith point boosting. I start with 10 faith points. I can build them up, which would be quite useful.
It takes a while to get a head around these faith points, I believe.
Yeah, no, I've been reading them up, so those will be good at. It's the command points that I've realised I've now actually got 14 command points to spend this game, which is immense. I've never had so many, and I'm going to have to work out what stratagems to use, but I know what I want to use with these guys coming down. Then I've gone from an armoured bubble over here with a Canoness at the centre of it, just to start with.
Yeah, so we've pretty much set up opposite sides. I've got the Plague Marines here and one of the drones here. Everything else of mine's on the other side. The Blight Crawler, Mammon, another drone, and the Poxwalker Bubble, getting the +1 to their cover save, +1 to their save for having the Malefic Blight Hauler there. And also the Demon Prince with separating places there as well, just tidying up the back. So we'll move on to we'll move on to see if who's going to go first.
Yeah, good point.
Right, so 2 of the Exorcists fired at the bloat drone that was there. And the Hunter Killer missiles as well.
Yeah.
That died. Then the other Exorcist fired at the Poxwalkers. Oh, sorry, no. It fired at the other bloat drone and missed.
And the Poxwalkers with its Exorcist.
And the
Hunter
Poxwalkers
Killer went at the bloat drone.
Yeah, the Hunter Killer went at the bloat drone. The Poxwalkers took the Exorcist missiles and shrugged it off. And the Bolt of Fire took down 2 Poxwalkers.
Yeah.
And I think that was the end of shooting. There's no charges to make. So we'll move on to movement for the Death Guard. Right. So Death Guard turn 1. We have just wiggled these Plague Marines around here a bit. We've got some quite good advance rolls on the Poxwalkers. And Typhus and everyone else, they've shuffled up. The Plague Drone's gone up there. Mammon's moved forward. Popped the Demon Prince over to get the reroll 1s for the Plague Burst Crawler. So let's see if we can do some damage to these old Sisters of Battle with before they take all my big hitters off the table. Right, so we try putting Miasma of Pestilence on the Poxwalkers here. Ben denied it, and then wished he'd saved that deny for the Plague Winds that hit this squad of blue sisters for 6 mortal
Soften
wounds.
the leper.
Curse of the leper, yeah.
Yes.
He suffered that one quite badly. So, and I failed to get off Blades, Gift of Contagion and Blessings as well. I failed to get both of them off. So then the other Demon Prince is out of range. So we're now moving on to shooting phase for Death Guard. Right, it's shooting round. Didn't go very much according to plan. The bloat drone there took 1 more of the blue ladies, Celestines there, and then the Plague Bear's Crawler. He did a lot of hitting, and then you saved on the emulator there, and you saved on the
Shield of Faith.
Shield of Faith on the
Exorcist.
On the Exorcist. Then the
beautiful invuln for vehicles.
Yeah, Blight Hauler then fired in, took 4 wounds off with the multi-melter, and the Blight Launcher took, was that another 2? 3. Oh yeah, D3. Yeah, 3 off on that. Other than that, it's a pretty poor shooting round. So we shall move
on to round 2 for the sisters.
Or shall I charge?
Ooh. Can you charge?
No, I think I've advanced everything.
You did.
So.
Except for those guys at the back.
Yeah, so we're moving on to Sisters' movement phase.
So.
Sisters' movement phase. They dropped in the Seraphins, are they?
Yep.
Seraphim, 1 unit there, and 1 unit here. They moved up. A couple of squad of Sisters got out and moved. That one moved around to there. This one moved to here, and used a stratagem
to do burning descent
on this unit of Seraphins over here to fire basically all their weapons on the way down in the movement phase, which actually took off 4 wounds.
3?
4.
4 from Black.
For 3 off the bolt pistols because I rolled 1s and then 1s again on the Disgusting Resilience, and so that was quite useful strat. Are you setting off your banner?
Yeah, I'm going to set off this banner to give the unit of Celestians an extra +1 to their Shield of Faith. So they're on a 5-up invuln. Because she's within 6 inches, that now 4-up invuln for that blue unit.
Yeah, because the Celestine has just dropped into being 9.
Yep.
So that's it. You've still got 1 set of Seraphins in reserve. In reserve. We're now moving on to shooting phase. Right. So, shooting phase. A lot of pistols and stuff went into the bloat drone, killed that. Fired the immolator into the Pox Walkers, killed a couple. And he fired all the Exorcists into the Plague Marines. I had 3 left, and then lost 2 to morale. Re-rolled the morale test and got a 6 again. So lost 2 to morale there. That immolator fired. No, it didn't fire. It was out of range, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So now we are going on to. Are you making any charges?
No.
So we'll be going on to Death Guard. Turn movement. Right. So try to smite this immolator there, and Ben used command point.
Command point for a stratagem, which is Purity of Faith, which basically is a 4-up chance to nullify the effect, which it worked.
Yeah, which it worked. I did Pearlescent Vitality and Miasma Pestilence on this unit here, and we did Blades Purification on this unit here. They both went off, and we failed with Plague Winds, was it?
Yeah.
So that failed to go off.
And Thing of the Leper.
Oh no, sorry, it was Curse the Leper. I did not Plague Winds yet. Curse the Leper, that failed to go off. So now moving on to shooting phase. For turn 2 Death Guard. Right, forgot to mention the Blight Lord Terminators dropping at the back here.
Who shot everything into the back of these?
Yes, and did nothing. Saved on 5s and 6s, and for the Reaper Cannon and the Bolters and the Melters all missed. We destroyed the immolator there with the multi-melter from the crawler. And we took 1 off with the entropy cannons from the Plague Burst crawler, and everything else missed. We took out a couple of that unit there. Or was it 1 in the end?
Just the 1 in the
Just
end,
1
yeah.
from the Mamoons gun, and now we're moving on to charge phase. Oh, and we fired the Blight Launcher in, and he got 2 wounds through into that, and they're both saved. So we're moving on to charge and fight phase. Come back to you after. Right. end of the fight phase.
Battle round 2.
Battle round 2, yeah. The Terminators failed their charge. Didn't take anything to Overwatch. They saved everything. So both these got in. Typhus didn't. We wiped out the squad. Got 4 more back or whatever it was in Poxwalkers. And we consolidated into the Canoness and out of the squad. Took 3 or 4 back to fight back. Took 2 back to fight back in this lot of Poxwalkers. We didn't do any damage with the Poxwalkers there. So that was the end of the fight phase. So now we are going into end of the turn 3 for these sisters. We forgot to do end of the shooting phase. In the shooting phase, the Demon Prince took everything from all around here and died to Melter Fire. Saved everything else, just multi-melter. 2 of them, which was rather nasty. The Blight Lord Terminators, they took 2 from the Exorcist missiles, and a couple of Poxwalkers died to the bolters. They dropped out of combat, and everything shot into the Poxwalkers, and the close combat resulted in 13 Poxwalkers dying. And the Seraphins charged the Blight Hauler. He took 2 out in Overwatch and 2 out in close combat. 2 ran away from morale, but we realised that with the faith points, he could roll a faith point and auto pass it, which he did, and saved 2 models. So now we'll be moving on to Death Guard. Turn 3. Death Guard movement phase. We'd forgot to consolidate the Seraphim, which we've done. Mamoon's moved around there. These have all moved up.
They've moved up. Yeah.
Moved these Poxwalkers up. Moved the Blight Lord Terminators up. And that stayed in combat over there. So we're going to move on to the Haulers stayed stationary. Stayed stationary. In fact, no, I'm going to move him before. I'm going to move him up.
Before you run your phase, fine.
A few inches, and I'm going to use blasphemous machines so I don't get a penalty, just so I can use my heavy weapons a bit better. And then we'll go on to side phases. Right, Death Guard shooting. We took another 4 wounds.
6 wounds off that.
6 wounds altogether. What with the Plague Burst Mortar and the shooting from the Blight Lords. Yeah. We took 8 wounds from that. From the Plague Burst Crawler entry cannons, and we shot into Celestine, took a wound off, took a couple of the Seraphim out.
Yeah.
What with the combination of pistol shooting?
Yeah.
And now we're moving on. Psych phase, Typhus Perilled, and we put Miasma Pestilence onto the Poxwalkers. We also used the Dead Walk Again stratagem on that set of light-based Poxwalkers there.
I managed to deny something with that hand.
Yeah, you denied Curse the Leper.
Yep.
So and something else as well. Blades of Purification.
Yeah.
So
with the brazier of.
Yeah. Turns out that's a better deny than having deny.
Yeah.
So yeah, on to fight phase, the charge and fight phase. Right. So a lot happened here. There we killed 1. Yeah, and took nothing in the fight back. In this one, the Poxwalkers killed a lot, and Mammon killed a lot of the 7.
Yeah, Seraphim.
7 Seraphim. Necrosis went in and did 4 wounds and wiped out the Gemini. And then Typhus
sliced
Celestine to pieces. Altogether was
12.
Yeah, she would have been 9 wounds altogether went through.
Yeah. Yes.
Could have been 18 but yeah, so she's dead. And we've got a lot of Poxwalkers back. And now he rolled to get Celestine's self-revive.
Yeah.
So she now sets up an inch from any enemy model.
It's closest to where she died, but away from an inch, so it'll be about there, I reckon.
Yeah.
So she pops back up.
So we'll go on to Sisters turn 4.
Sisters turn 4, yeah.
Right. Shooting phase. Everything from here, and one of the exorcists shot into the blight hauler and took 4 wounds off. Typhus took a wound to bolt of fire. The blight bringer took 4 wounds to a lot of fire, and Mamoon took a wound, and we lost one of the Terminators on this side. I think that was everything. So there was a lot of shooting, obviously, from the sisters. Mm-hmm. We move on to charge and fight phase. Right, end of the charge and fight phase. Celestine dispatched Typhus. Necrosis saved all his attacks from the what are they called? Gemini, and they saved all the attacks back. Killed one Poxwalker with the Canoness, and then that Canoness saved from the Poxwalkers, and Mamoon heroically intervened, and she saved all his. So we are ending the turn, going on to Death Guard turn
3.
4. Right, well, we moved the Blight Hauler up, because there's no penalty for moving. That all stayed the same pretty much.
Action swing, consolidation.
Yeah.
Then Psych.
Psych, he denied both powers, so neither went off. They went off, but they got denied, so really strong denies by the sisters. Really strong. For command point, was it 4 up?
And then it's 4 up, just stops
straight across the board. Is ridiculously strong.
And then the brazier is that brazier is the best. It allows you to. You've got to roll above the psychic power, but you do get 2d6.
But it's a deny every time. Yeah, it's good. Shooting. This Immolator blew up. Didn't blow up. Died. Didn't blow up. From the Plague Burst Crawler. We put a load of wounds onto that from the Plague Burst Crawler. That Exorcist. Everything from the Blight Hauler shot into the Celestine. Took one of the Gemini out.
Through Life Ward, bouncing the wounds off.
Onto the Gemini, but it was D6, disgraceful.
Yeah.
Disgracefully strong unit, really. Everything else shot. I think it took one off the Canoness with Mammon. So then we're now moving on to fight phase. Or charge and fight phase. Right. Fight phase. Gemini's both died. Took a lot of wounds from Necrosis the Undying, and then they consolidate into Celestine after she'd taken 3 wounds off the Blight Hauler. Mamoon dispatched the Canoness and then consolidated into the sisters over there. I think that was everything there. That's all the combat. I haven't got very many models left to fight with, so we shall move on to sisters. We forgot to do a video. Movement, not much moved really. There was a little bit of shuffling. Celestine popped over to the other side after getting her Gemini back. Then quite a few things shot into the Malefic Blight Hauler that blew up and done a load of mortal wounds on various different people. And then they took the rest of the Poxwalkers out, and then one Poxwalker took so much firepower from bolters to the point where Ben ended up putting the Exorcist into it and eventually took it out because it was just sucking up wounds for fun. I rolled 8 5s in a row. So yeah, that was good. And then after that, he's charged in these little bunch here to Necrosis. And I think that's everything. So we're now going into the fight phase. You didn't lose anything to Overwatch. Yeah, so now we're moving on to fight phase. Right, end of turn 5. Sisters. Necrosis took a wound and killed the 2 Seraphins in combat. So now we're moving on to Death Guard turn 5. Movement. Which there really won't be any of because you won't be able to charge, so we go straight into shooting phase. Oh, Psychics actually first. Who's Psychics first? Right. Psychic phase. Blocked Plague Winds but killed 2 in combat with Smite. So we're going on to shooting phase. Right. So end of Death Guard 10-5. Necrosis killed a model.
A unit of 2 and a model.
Yeah, and that was in the shooting and fight phase. It was
Yeah.
Mammon killed a unit of 2 and a model.
Yeah, you're right.
We did a bit of shooting, and obviously that didn't go great. Missed everything with the Plague Burst. It was all saved. So yeah, it was. I'm going to concede at this point because I can't hold any objectives because the ones he's got fly, so he's going to beat me at every chance. And he's surrounded these 2 over here. So even if they get to move, I can't move them far enough to not gain. So good game to Ben. He's done well. The sisters seem really strong. Really strong.
In this beta codex, yeah, they're very strong. Actually.
Yeah, it was just
nice combination. I've got down from. I've used all 15 command points.
Yeah.
Just till now, I've got 3 faith points left, so I've not had to boost them back up much.
They're just strong. The Celestine getting the
Popping
Gemini back up and reviving herself. I mean, I think if she hadn't revived herself, I'd have been in a lot stronger position for because Typhus would have been alive. You pop back up the other side of him, which made him your closest model.
Yeah.
He's I just don't.
So there's she can pop back into life. She can pop a Gemini back to life. You can use a hospitalier the hospital girl to pop a person or a unit
back to life, and plus you get a faith revive.
And there's a faith revive as well. So there's lots of ability to pop stuff.
So they just get come back up and taking in all their wounds for the Gemini and for Celestine, 210 points.
Yeah,
it's ridiculously strong.
It's good.
That's you're talking 12 wounds just off Celestine.
Yeah,
and then you've got the Gemini as well. They're really strong. Plus the 6 up Invon across the board.
Minimum Celestine, yeah, and
with the buff of Celestine. So
5, 6,
I think they're probably one of the strongest marine armies, if not the strongest. With having an invulnerable save.
Yeah,
I think that makes them so. I mean, to be fair though, some of your 6 rolls have been ridiculous.
I have been rolling really well.
I mean, I just took 3 wounds for you. You rolled 3 6s.
Yeah,
it's just like
crazy
good
for this girl here.
Yeah,
against big demon dude.
Yeah, he was just about to stand on her head, and she said no, with a putrid stomp.
And then she ends up claiming the point
because she flies.
In the scenario.
In this particular scenario, I wish I'd been playing my Drakari.
Yeah,
because everything flies.
Yeah.
But didn't do too badly. It was. I mean, I was ahead on points up until the last turn 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then you overtook me on points, and after that, I couldn't get him back. You started chasing them, surrounding the markers with the extra troops you had. Made a bit of a mistake where I put my Blight Lord Terminators over. And I went for a bit of a fun list today. I wanted to try my 2 new models out with Necrosis and Mammon. Probably not the strongest units because they're Forge World models. I don't think the rules are particularly good for Mammon, considering his 200-point model, and he's got no psych.
Yeah, he should have.
Other than that, he's not bad, but I think as a Demon Prince, he should have psychic powers. Necrosis is alright, not bad model. He's still there, to be fair.
Yeah, he's done well buffing.
And he's buffing the Poxwalkers with
probably because of the Poxwalker though.
yeah.
That survived about 8.
Yeah. I made I think it was 8 5 up.
Yeah, disgustings,
and then 2 6s, and then he finally died. So 10 saves in a row.
Yeah, it's nearly as dirty as Celestine.
Yeah. For a 6-point model, it took some firepower. Yeah, to be honest, I definitely could have done with more firepower on my list. Losing the 2 bloat drones and rolling 1s and 2s for saves and disgusting resilience in the first 2 turns was terrible. It just lost me the ability to get them auto hits in, really.
And taking hold of some of those.
Yeah, auto hitting.
Your flies units.
Yeah, they have 2 flyers as well, that's the other thing, yeah. So I definitely could have done with a bit more firepower. Should have maybe brought Hellbrute, but well played, Ben. It was well played game.
Great game.
And like I say, really close up to the end, and having the rule where you can even get tabled. I was thinking, well, I'm ahead on points here. I'm doing all right, and then obviously Celestine and the Flyers got involved, and they just auto taking the point. Even when I had the whole of the Poxwalkers round one of them, just turned the game.
Yeah,
definitely turned the game. And so
supplies from above, Eternal Wargaming.
Yeah, it was good. It's very interesting with having the objective markers moving, having to roll off every time and the winner gets to move the objective marker 3 inches in whatever direction they please.
Yeah, so if you've not been careful about surrounding them, like
which is why Ben decided to just surround him, because I kept moving him away from him, which was why I was ahead on points. Then turned 2 and 3, because I moved him away and claimed 2 points on him.
And I forgot to surround him.
Damn it! It wasn't ridiculous. I mean, how many points did you end up on? 9.
Yeah. And
I had 7, but just obviously I have no models, and I just couldn't get them back.
Yeah, we'd have to tot up for turn 5. Start turn 6.
Yeah, you go extra. I might just about. No, I don't even know. We'll get line breaker, to be honest.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
So you'd end up with line breaker.
I think the game would end at 10. I think the game might end at the start of.
You have to roll,
because you'd roll off these, and that would be it. Because you wouldn't have a turn 6.
It says roll to complete, doesn't it? Do you not carry on rolling like you were doing a normal mission? But I'm going to concede anyway, because as good as Necrosis and Mon are, having one Plague Burst Crawler left, I don't think I'm going to win. Again, purely because of the holding the lines. Plague Burst Crawler whiffed in the first 2 turns, came good in the last 2. The turn 3 and 4 in the last turn didn't do anything. Ben was rolling 6s for saves right across the board. So. Altogether, like I say, enjoyable game. Look forward to the next one.
Yeah.
See which armies. Maybe I'll get my Drakari back out of the cupboard to fight the sisters and see how they get on against it.
Yeah, well, if you're free Friday, I think it's games night Friday.
Yeah. All right, well, BFS Wargaming out, and we'll see you next time.